Flood. This is where you draw too many lands and not enough spells. Screw. This is where you draw too many spells and not enough lands. The Colorless Curse. This is where you do draw both lands and spells, but all of your lands only tap for colorless mana, so you still can't cast anything. Handful of Rocks. This is where you have lots of mana, but you actually only have one land, because the rest of your mana comes in the form of all mana rocks. And then inevitably, someone will play a Vandal Blast. Counting Cards. This is where you're playing a game of Limited, and you've drawn so many lands that you actually need to count how many cards are left in your deck just to see how low the chances of drawing another land are. You realize that out of 15 cards left in your deck, only one of them is a land, and you still manage to draw it anyway. Almost Perfect. This is where you have 2 lands in both of your colors and a perfect game-winning curve that starts at 3 mana, but then you never draw a third land. Too Painful. This is when every land that you draw is one that makes you pay life in order to use it, and obviously, you're playing against mono-red aggro. Useless Temple. This is where you have a Temple of the False God, but you can never get to 5 lands. So basically, every game in which you draw it. Clutch Shockland. This is when you need just 1 more mana in order to cast a spell that will either prevent you from losing the game, or make you win the game. And guess what? You just drew a Shockland. But you only have 2 life left. Light Splash. This is when you decide to splash a color in your limited deck, so you play anywhere between 1 and 3 basic lands of that color, and when you draw your opening hand, you have all those lands, which means you can cast 0 spells. Only the Slowest. This is when every single one of your lands comes into play tapped. Desperate Tutor. This is when you're so desperate to find another land that you decide to use your Vampiric Tutor to search up just a basic land. So you do this on your opponent's end step, put the basic land on top of your deck, and then your opponent thought scours it into the graveyard.